Hello, Medipreneurs. This time we are speaking with Sue Paul and Dan Krinsky, and they have a fun title for this year. It's Fun with a Pharmacy Partnership, the PGX 101 Experience. So welcome, Sue and Dan. Tell us a little bit about your session.
Well, thanks, Michelle. It's exciting. We're going to talk more this year. Last year, we talked about pharmacogenomics, and this year, we're going to talk more about having a long-distance business relationship and what life is like with having a partner. And so we're going to kind of delve into that and how we set it up and some of the nuts and bolts that have made us so successful.
Agreed. So as Sue mentioned, we're going to talk this year about how we developed our business model, how we got into business, why we decided to get into business, how we identified target markets, how we went about designing a website, and how we've been able to execute on our business plan. And obviously, you can spend hours and hours and hours developing a business plan, but unless you execute on that business plan, all it does is just sit in a folder. And we didn't want that to happen. So we both have a tremendous passion for the content that we deliver, the individuals with whom we interact on a regular basis. And it's not so much being successful business people, it's, again, kind of realizing a dream for me, and that is to be more of an independent business person, more of an entrepreneur, and being able to use my knowledge and skills and work with a great partner like Sue to be able to do things we really enjoy.
Thanks, Dan.
Fantastic. So if I were coming to your session, what sorts of things would be my takeaways?
So we have a number of objectives that we've included, and I think what we want to do is help the attendees to understand the work that goes into putting a business together. And because we have more of a distance relationship, we're about 3.5 hours away, a lot of the communications that we have to be done by phone or by email. And that creates some challenges, but it also, I think, has created some opportunities because we both have more separate networks that we can call upon to help us kind of feed the business. We both have fairly different backgrounds, different practice experiences, and I think collectively that's worked to our advantage. So we want to try and share that with our audience to help them understand, that it's important if you have a passion to follow that passion, that you can be successful. It takes some time. You have to invest in the success. But if you work with a partner that has the same goals and objectives and same mission and vision, and you put all the background work into that partnership and relationship, that you can be very successful and you can be as successful as you want to be. And, for us right now, it's more of a part-time venture. But who's to say that we're not going to come across another partner that's going to want us to take this to a much higher level than we'd ever envisioned. So, maintaining flexibility and keeping our eyes and ears open and just looking for the next opportunity.
Well, I like that. Just kind of briefly, what all has changed with PGX 101 in the last year?
I think our visibility is more. I know Blair Thielmeyer talks about being that go-to resource for whatever your business is. I don't know that we are the place to go, but we are certainly up there. And those are bringing more and more opportunities for us. We had more trainings last year. And what we're able to use the information that we're receiving from attendees to hone our talks even more and make it more pertinent to the attendees. In the next year, I do see us creating an avenue where we have the coaching programs and to help take people who are attending the program to the next level in pharmacogenomics. What do you think, Dan?
I think we also have a lot more confidence. As we go to sessions and we interact with attendees, we're getting some really good feedback. And I think that helps to build our confidence. It helps us to, reflect back on what we initially decided to do a few years ago and gives us, again, more energy to keep pushing this forward because we're just seeing the need grow, and we're seeing more people that are interested. Again, like Sue mentioned, we have more visibility. We're on the map now, and for two people that really weren't sure what the heck we were going to do with all this, a few years ago, we're recognized as a player, and that's pretty exciting. It's also somewhat intimidating at times. You have to live up to certain standards, but Sue's done a wonderful job in helping us to do that, and I have every confidence that we're going to keep growing.
What a difference a year or two can make. Just having kind of been in the sidelines watching you two, it's been amazing and awesome to watch.
It's been a fun ride so far, but I think we're just kind of touching the tip of the iceberg right now, and as we recognize more potential partners, we have more people reach out to us. I think we can be a little bit more selective in what we decide we want to do in the future versus having to just acquiesce and take everything that comes along. I think we need to be a little bit more selective and determine exactly what direction makes the most sense for a long-term success.
And that's another great thing for people to talk about, is how you're becoming more strategic, what that looks like, how you're making those decisions. So tell us a little bit of the backstory. How did you two become partners in this?
So you do a great job telling the story.
It's a story, all right. So we met initially in 2016 at the Test to Learn program, certificate training back at University of Pittsburgh. And because we were both from Ohio, we reconnected at the OPA in that spring of 2017. Dan had, through his students and his work as a academic, had done a, I'll let you talk about that, but a survey, and tapped into a need that we identified. And then we just kept talking and realized that we had similar goals, similar missions, similar vision, and kind of went for it. And it's been an interesting ride, to say the least, but nothing I would ever not want to happen. So
you wouldn't trade him.
Exactly.
Well, that remains to be seen. So I, as you mentioned, I was working with a few students, and we did a survey of Ohio pharmacists, and the responses were fairly overwhelming in that a lot of pharmacists were not aware of pharmacogenomics, but were interested in pharmacogenomics, and they saw this as one of the avenues to help support our future as a professional. And we took that information, plus the fact that Sue and I had both been through this intense training and we're doing zero with it. And I felt terrible about that. And so we just decided, well, let's walk the walk, and let's put this business together and see where it goes. And we did, and here we are, and haven't looked back too often.
Excellent.
Just a little bit about our why. I was using it in the physician's office where I get to work, and saw the remarkable results that we were getting. And I certainly did not need to start another business. It was not on the agenda. But what I realized through Dan and his survey and through our discussions was the lack of information out there about pharmacogenomics, and the fact that the way it was presented. So we were going to these trainings, and it wasn't necessarily what I needed from it. I've been through 3 certificate programs, and none of them gave me what I was looking for. Mm-hmm. And so we've been able to incorporate that. I mean, who needs another pharmacogenomics certificate program? But what we've done is we really personalize it for the attendees, giving them their own PGX test at a low reduced rate, and then being able to incorporate the real world case studies that I get to encounter with my physicians.
Makes a big difference.
It does.
As an attendee, I'll say I got so much out of it, and I cannot wait for your next phase where I can call you and say, hey, I'm stuck with XYZ, and we've got kind of a support network. So no pressure, but that's what I'm expecting next.
Okay. We'll be there.
Well, thank you both. No doubt people will get a lot out of this session. I know just from hearing Medipreneur discussions over the last couple of years, a lot of people are thinking about wanting to form partnerships, collaborate in different ways. So you two will be an inspiration of how to make it work even over distance. So.
Yes.
Well, I know I was very inspired at last year's meeting, and that led me to creating my own consulting business. And so I'm looking forward to the collaboration and the interactions that we're going to have this year. It should be wonderful.
Oh, that's great news. We love all of those stories of people taking leaps because they felt inspired to do so and supported.
Count me as one of those.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. We'll see you all in just a few weeks.
Sounds great. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.